Hello and welcome back to Addiction Football. What a game last night at Children's Mercy Park after an even crazier first leg at City Park last week. The best team in the West since May 1st, Sporting KC, kicks out the number 1 seed and conference champions of the West, St. Louis City, over 2 games. Now, this wasn't just a normal playoff game. I have visited both clubs playing each other in early September, and although this is a brand new rivalry, it turned pretty ugly pretty early on. And from the very beginning, both sets of fans didn't really hide the fact that they don't like one another the slightest bit.
This is the soccer capital? What the? It's just a stupid heart. It's just a stupid heart. Go back to St. Louis. Go back to St. Louis.
This rivalry began on May 20th with a whopping 4-0 home win to City SC in those two teams' first ever encounter, and after a total of 4 games, both sides have won 2 times each and they have scored an unbelievable 17 goals. After last night's match, however, SKC are not only 3-2 up in games won, you could also argue that kicking your new rival out of the playoffs and winning 4-1 at their ground carries a little bit more weight. Since the day these two clubs played one another for the very first time, it has been not only a debate, but a full-on battle for the title of America's soccer capital. So St. Louis supporters are already looking for a name for this new rivalry.
The cease and desist with the podcast. Yeah.
But they were soccer capital podcast.
Yeah.
But Kansas City claims to be the soccer capital.
They filed for the trademark after the podcast was created, and then enforced it and sent an email to
By
the
lawyers,
creators of the
cease and
podcast
desist.
that they need to change their name.
So that's what Now, let's ask ourselves a couple of questions. If there was such thing as a soccer capital, what would that place look like? Wouldn't it be a place where the population generally loves football? Wouldn't it be a place that has a long footballing history and also some titles to show for? And wouldn't it be a place where the overall experience for even a neutral football fan is a pleasant one? Let's see and find out. It is no secret that both teams have very passionate fan bases. In case of St. Louis, even a traveling away support in big numbers, especially where the derby against SKC is concerned. With St. Louis City being a brand new club in its first ever season and SKC having won a Supporters' Shield, 2 MLS Cups and 4 US Open Cups, the question regarding titles is an easy one. This point clearly goes to SKC. However, a quick Google search shows that SKC is, apart from the KC Current, the local women's team, Kansas City's only notable football club, and I couldn't find any football history from before 1995 when SKC was founded. St. Louis, on the other hand, have an extensive football history dating back as far as 1882. Not only did the US national team that defeated England 1-0 in the 1950 World Cup have 5 players from St. Louis in it, but a whopping total of 29 players from St. Louis have been inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame. So, in terms of football history, I think St. Louis is the winner. So for the fact that this is a team in its first ever season, there is a lot going on here already. This is very well organized. This is called Dave & Buster's, where I had a burger. There's an Applebee's right there. I guess the best place to eat around here is a Longhorn. This is corporate America, and it kind of sucks. I'm sorry. While I was jumping on my motorbike from the orange parking lot where the St. Louis supporters are tailgating to the stadium to find my media parking, And then walking back to the tailgate where the Sporting KC fans are, I completely missed the march. So it is pretty much a mile from the stadium to the parking lot. While my matchday experience in St. Louis was quite a pleasant one and very much reminded me of what I know from Europe, at SKC, despite them being a founding member of the MLS, the stadium location has absolutely nothing to do with a great matchday experience. In the worst case, you have to walk a mile to the stadium in a 90-degree heat. This is, however, said from the perspective of a European football fan, and I do appreciate the fact that some things in America are being done differently, such as the playoffs we don't have in Europe either. So, that being said, maybe Children's Mercy Park might be a great location for tailgate parties, which aren't really a thing in Europe. Sporting going through might have come as a surprise for some, not so much for me though. I think one of the things that are happening at St. Louis right now is suddenly everyone has sky-high expectations because they were the best expansion team ever, despite all the experts having them down as bottom or second bottom before the season. Similar to my club, Stuttgart, winning the Bundesliga back in 2007 when nobody expected it, and the season after they just couldn't handle the pressure of being the reigning champions. They finished 6th in the league and got laughed out of the Champions League with only 3 points. So, when the MLS goes into the playoffs, it's kind of a cutoff, and suddenly you're no longer the new kid on the block without any expectations. Now you are the top seed in the West, and everyone and their dog know what you can do. Everyone knows your playing style and you're under a hell of a lot of pressure. So, now you guys can make up your own mind as to who you think America's soccer capital is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it St. Louis, is it Kansas City, or is it another place altogether? I myself can't wait to see more stadiums and get to know more MLS clubs next season. As always, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.